Hello and welcome to this new video in the SQL section. In this video, we will see how to create a copy of an existing table. This is required at times, especially when you're learning and also during the development to just try out few things. So let's see what exactly this is. Consider we have this table. You could take any table. Any table. We are not focusing on what data we have. Rather, let's focus only on the concept that will help you to create a copy. So you have this table called dim product. I said select start from dim product. I give you a task stating that, okay, I want to create a copy of this table. How would you do it? Now there are multiple ways to do it. One way you could think of is, okay, you create the table by using the create table statement, and then you can transfer the data from this table to that table. How can you transfer the data from one table to another? After creating the table, I'll also show you but here's a shortcut. So I say select star from dim product. This is how we usually write our select statement. And just before from, I write something extra. I say into the target table name, the new table name. So let's say this is my backup table. So I say dim product underscore BK, for example. So what this statement means is, this is famously known as select into statement, in which it will take the dim product table, take the structure of it in terms of the names of columns and the data types, create a new table called as dim product underscore BK, and then transfer the entire data from dim product into this backup table. Keep in mind that this statement is going to create a new table for you. So you have to make sure that this table doesn't exist, or if it does, either you drop that table or you choose some other different name. You don't have to create this table, neither it has to exist. So the select into statement will do two things for us: create the table and then transfer. So if you see over here, there is only dim product, but we don't have dim product underscore BK. So I'll select this, execute. If you refresh the tables folder, you see here we have this table, and if I right click and say select top 1000 rows, I get exactly the same kind of data what we had over there. Now why is this required? What happens is, since we are also going to learn a number of operations going ahead after this video, wherein we will learn how to update the records or delete the records, and we will end up manipulating our original tables. So this is one time or one situation, couple of things where I don't want to touch the original table. I want to try out these things on a backup table. So when you're not sure, what the impact could be, especially when you will do updates and deletes, you should not be using your target table or your original table. Take a backup of your table in this way and then do the update or delete operations, what we will be learning in the subsequent videos. So that is one time when you will need this SQL query. Next thing, at times you may not want to transfer all the data. You want only some specific rows. For example, you want only red color products. So what do? Now since we are familiar with filters, all you will have to do is just add a filter clause. Just say where color is equal to red. Now this statement won't run again because you see this dim product table is already there. So let me make it dim product underscore BK2. Now you see 63 rows were affected. I can just query this table, select star from dim product 2, and I can see 63 rows, and it only has red color products, as you can see. So in similar way, you can add any conditions and then transfer the data as you want. That is one thing. At times what happens is, you just want the structure of the table. You don't want the data. So what do you do in that case? For example, you say, I want this table. I want exactly the same replica, a copy of this table structure, but I don't want any data. So that's okay. So all we do is we write an impossible condition like this way. We know where will only give me those rows wherein the condition is true. If the condition is not true, it won't give me any rows. So if you write 1 is equal to 2, we all know that this condition will never be true and no rows will be returned in this case. So this is a trick. So you have to write some impossible condition And if you run this, you see 0 rows affected. In this case, if you run the table now, select star from dim product underscore bk3, you will only see a blank table. One more thing could be that at times you don't want all the columns. So that's okay. So you see, the possibilities are endless. You just take any specific columns that you want. For example, product key, English product name, and sales amount. Sorry, no, this will not have sales amount. Maybe list price. Okay, and I say BK4. So now, if you query this, there you go. So the control is in your hand. The select statement is going to drive what all columns you want to include. But look at the syntax. Select the name of the columns into new table name from old table. That's how the syntax is. Keep in mind again that this table should not exist. If it exists, if you run this again, it will throw an error. There is already an object name, dim product bk4. So this saves our effort to create the table. It also has few limitations that we'll discuss on later. But for right now, this is what is needed for us going ahead. So that's it in this video. See you in the next one.